The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, I've got a great Christmas gift for you today, folks. Get your Christmas stockings out. Santa's on the rampage. Now listen, what I'd like to do is to tell you how to save some money. My lovely wife, Sarah, has figured out a way to save about $100 a month. I mean, this is the easiest thing you're ever going to have to do. But she figured it out, and I have to give her a great deal of credit. Here's what you do. We live in Tucson, Arizona, in a gate-guarded community area, but we always still have, you know, the usual burglar alarm stuff with all the bells and whistles. Runs about $100 a month and stuff. So what Sarah did, she went online and she bought an Iranian flag and she bought a Syrian flag, and she put those two flags up in front of our house. And within one day, we have a 24-hour surveillance of the Pima County Sheriff, Homeland Security, the FBI, and the Secret Service are looking at our house 24/7 without any charge to us at all. Now, is that a good country or what? You have to love it, don't you, folks? But anyway, that's just how it works. All right, let's talk a little bit about the markets. I posted the, I haven't posted in there yet. I better do it now. I think it would be a good idea. Hold on, I want to show you what I think is happening. And that is we're making an ABCD pattern here up around this 2023 level. It could take 2 to 3 days. We might go a little bit higher. We could get up to 2040, but this thing is still have all the earmarks that it wants to go lower. That's the bottom line. Now, I wanted to start out the show today, being the holidays and stuff. I wanted to get a little bit more of how I got interested in this whole thing about Fibonacci and all this stuff. When I worked for Drexel way back in the 1970s, from 76 through 82, one of the places that I would hang out was at the Bodhi Tree Bookstore and Restaurant up on Melrose, up in North Hollywood, just outside of Beverly Hills. That has it has the most extensive bookstore. They call it an occult bookstore, but it's for metaphysical stuff. But you can almost always go into that shop, and it's a pretty big bookstore. You're going to find you're going to see a movie star, at least one, maybe two. One of my best experiences there is I was with my good friend Byron Tucker. Oh, this was back, I forget what it was. Must have been about 85. 86, and we went there looking for some astro books, and we were sitting back there having some tea, and someone came up and asked. It was pretty crowded, and they asked if they could share the table with us, and it was Shirley MacLaine with her friend. And of course, she's the sister of Warren Beatty, but they're very pleasant, just like normal people. No one even cared whether they were movie stars or not, but it's a really cool place if you want to go. And if you're also there, you need to go to the Manly Hall's Library up on Mulholland. I can't remember. It's called the Institute for Metaphysical. I don't remember what the name of it is. I can see the front door, and I can't even remember the name of it. Anyway, Manly Hall he was born with a platinum spoon in his mouth. His mother spent his whole life teaching him about the universe and everything, and he wrote many, many books. And of course, the greatest book, of course, is The Secret Teachings of All the Ages, that goes through all the stuff of the Masons and the Knights Templar and all the stuff that we see on TV and stuff. This was what he studied. He lived to be almost 100 years old. I have a leather-bound copy of that book. It's worth about $1,200 now, I believe. And this also comes in a soft cover book. I think it's around $80. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's called The Secret Teachings of the Ages by Manly Hall. And he goes through all of these things, of which, we're talking about numbers of sacred geometry. Now, the two books that are the standard for sacred geometry one is by Robert Lawler, Lawlor, Sacred Geometry, Philosophy, and Practice. Lawler was educated in New York, and when he got out of school, the first thing he did was take 12 years and go to India. And he studied in ashram for many of those years. And from there he went on to France, and he studied under the daughter of a man named Schwaller, who wrote a book on the Temple of Man, which was very, very popular. After finishing all those studies, he came back and then he wrote his famous book on sacred geometry. And the second book is a book by Stephen Skinner, which I highly recommend. I like it much better than the Lawyer book. The Lawyer book is a little too mathematical for me, whereas the Stephen Skinner book is very pictorial. I can see the pictures and they pop out at you, real easy, the good old Italian practice. You show me what I got it, then I'll be able to look at it. So, but those are the two books that will really be really, really good. Now, back in '86, when I first started, looking at the astrology and this stuff, I was looking at the different, how these cosmos things were going around and stuff like that. And I did a lot of astrology work with my mentor, Dr. Ruth Miller, and we saw some things that worked pretty good, and they did. They don't work all the time, but they work pretty good, and that's the bottom line of what we're looking at. And then in '88, I met. Early '88, I met Bryce Gilmore, and that was the thing that really turned me around to understand how markets actually work. One of the things that I did when I was at Drexel Burnham, anytime I had and believe me, anything I wanted to buy at Drexel Burnham, I could buy it. It was just, if I wanted to buy a $1,000 book, I just bought the book, gave them the receipt, and they gave me the money. And when I left, they gave me all the books because nobody else wanted them. So one book that I had was Torque Analysis of Stock Market Cycles by William Garrett. And the book was written at the same time that James Hurst wrote his book, The Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing. They were both engineers, but the difference is that the book that Garrett wrote was a little bit more mathematically inclined, whereas the book that Hurst wrote was more pictorial. You could actually see the cycles and stuff, and the things that are in the cycles. Some of them work, but most of them were basically rudimentary at best. But it brought you into cycle theory, which the master of that stuff was Edward Dewey, out of the Foundation for the Study of Cycles out of Pittsburgh, which I had been looking at for many years. Well, anyway, anytime I would have a nice win in poker or get a couple of ponies at the races, I would get a couple $100. I would stick them into books. I'd put a couple $100 into a book. And one day, it was in early 1989, I was going through looking for something in my library, and I put in fact, it's timeout. Judge is ruling here. Mr. Z just mentioned something very important, and that is the Hurst offset projection. In other words, you use that's right. Peter Eliades is the master of that. I met Peter back in 1964, and I've known him. He's just a wonderful fellow, and he keeps the greatest charts you've ever seen. He keeps a scroll. Looks like it looks like the Torah. It's about 4 feet thick now. It goes all the way back to the 1940s. Every day of the stock market, he charts the Dow Jones, and it's rolled into a scroll. It's really quite spectacular. Anyway, it's called a half span moving average, is what it is. And yes, that's right. Peter and I and Eddie Horowitz and Nate Cohen, we always went to the racetrack on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays when I was at Drexel, because of the fact that we had a box there that nobody went during the week because they were still working. But anyway, let's get back to the story here. Anyway, I had this book that I put this couple $100 in with Garrett, and I opened the book, and it was on page 89, and out pops a $100 bill, and I couldn't remember when I put it in there last, but I saw this really cool looking picture on page 89 of these spirals and stuff and Fibonacci expansions, and so I copied it, And this is when we had the old wet faxes. This was before we had this fancy stuff. And I sent the fax to Bryce Gilmore, and I just sent him the fax. I just saw it was for me. I didn't make any comments or anything. And of course, the big time difference, it's like 15 hours from California. About 1:30 in the morning, I get a phone call, and my significant other answers the phone, and I heard her talking, and I knew who she was talking to because she started laughing, and he had a great sense of humor. And then I finally got the phone. He said, "What's up?" He said, "Where'd you get this piece of paper?" And I said, "It's from one of my books." I said, I found $100 in there, and I saw that picture, and I thought you might be interested in it." He said, "I got to see this." I said, "Well, I just sent it to you." He said, "No, I want to see the whole book." And I said, "What do you mean you want to see the whole book?" I said, "It's 300 pages. He said, "I don't care how many pages it is." He said, "I want to see it." And he said, "Have I ever asked you for anything before?" And I said, I've known him about 2 years by then. And I said, "No, you haven't." He said, "I'd like to see it now." I said, "All right." I said, "I'm going to pull up my knickers here, and I'm going to go over to Kinko's, and I'm going to send you the whole book." And I don't even want to tell you how much that cost, but I sent every page of that book by fax. These were the old roller faxes that we had back in those days. The next morning, I get another phone call, said, "I'm on my way." And I said, "What do you mean you're on your way?" He said, "I'm coming to California to see you." He said he tracked down the widow of William Garrett. Clarice Garrett was living still in the same place there on Ala Moana Boulevard in Hawaii. They had a two condo unit connected together, and he wanted to talk to her. And so we flew her over to California, and we sat down with Clarice Garrett, William Garrett's widow, and she told us the story of his life, that he was an engineer. He was an Iowa farm boy, and he basically never had to trade because he had an estate that the grandfather and the father had left him, so he had plenty of money. He worked as a broker for Walston and Company. That was the company that was owned by H. Ross Perot. But that's all he did. He had just his own account. That's all he ever did. And he smoked like 2 or 3 packs a day, and all he did was study the markets. And he had this wonderful library of stuff that after he passed away, she donated them to the University of Hawaii's library. And unfortunately, within 1 month, all of the books disappeared, every single one of them. There wasn't one book left. And there were over 300 books, I believe she said, that she had donated. But anyway, she basically said that he did not trade. He just basically looked at the market, and when he thought it was time to get out of stocks, he would get out of stocks. And when he thought it was time to get in stocks, he would buy some stocks. This was long before indices and stuff like that. He passed away in the early 80s. I believe that's what she told us. And so anyway, that's the whole story of that. But on page 89, that page was the page that showed you how to square a circle, which is one of the hardest things you can do in sacred geometry, is how to square a circle. And it's done by the progression of Fibonacci numbers as we go to 618, 786, all the way up to a 0.88, and then to 1, and then to 1.18. And then 1.18 is how you square the circle. I still don't understand it, but that's how it all comes. So we'll get back to normal stuff when we get back. So 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. Plus. TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we've had a question about what does it mean to square a circle. That has to do with geometry, has very little to do with trading. Basically what it is you're taking a square, and within the square you have the triangles. You have several isosceles triangles, and then when you connect the dots you have a circle, and when you move the circle into an ellipse, that's how you square the circle. It moves out to 1.12 and then to 1.27 and then to 1.414 and then to 1.618 and all the way out to 2.618, and that's basically what it is. It's just a way of proving that these numbers that we look at are pretty awesome. That's the bottom line of what we're watching when we see these things. So that's all it is. It doesn't mean a whole lot as far as what we're looking at for trading. Now, the chart that I posted in here is for the E-mini S&P, and as you can see, we're completing this ABCD pattern. We're in the second day now. Actually, this is the second day of the rally from our low Friday, and it's going to be important today that if we get above 2040 in the S&P, I'm probably full of baloney here, but we're going to open higher here this morning in about 5 minutes. We took out the overnight high up around the 1223 by just a little bit. And the pullback that we made last night was a perfect to the exact tick retracement at 2007. In other words, we bottomed at 1992. We rallied up to 2023, and that pullback was a perfect 61% retracement at 2007, and now we've gone up and we've tested it again. So the first hour of trading will be the one that we'll want to watch and see what we're looking at, and then we'll know from there is where we're going on. Now, and if you don't understand about squaring a circle and stuff, folks, that's not in my pay grade to teach you that. If you're interested in geometry and stuff like that, pick up the book by Sacred Science by Stephen Skinner. It runs about $30 on Amazon, and that'll show you the pictures and how they come together. But, you know, I don't really need to know. I couldn't square a circle right now if I had a calculator in my hand. All I know is that's how you do it. But that has nothing to do with the trading of what we're looking at here. So keep in mind that that's an important concept to realize. There's a difference between trading and there's a difference between, you know, studying. And I'm just interested in more of the patterns, and that's all I'm doing is to try to, you know, figure out what these things are, and nothing more, nothing less. So we'll keep an eye on this and see what happens. But let's put the end to that story, because that's beyond my pay grade, as they say in the trade. Now, we've had a pretty good rally here in the gold and silver over the last few days, but we've been unable to stay above that 1980 level for very long. We hit it for about $1 yesterday, and then it backed off a few dollars. But the good thing is that the gold is not backing off that much from this level. It's only, you know, backing off $2 or $3 at a time. So that's an interesting one, you know, to take a look at. So those are just some of the things that we're watching for today. And but this stock market, you know, I could be 100% wrong here, and, you know, I am wrong a lot of times, but occasionally I get it right. But today will be interesting, because if we do close badly here today, which is highly unlikely, because we're in a holiday atmosphere with lower volume, and everybody's in a festive mood because they're getting all their packages from Amazon. And believe me, there's a lot of packages coming from Amazon. If you see these folks out there in the trucks, I mean, almost everything in the UPS truck has an Amazon label on it, and that's why the stock is you know, moving up as much as it is. So that's it seems to be a online shopping holiday. So we'll just see what happens. But anyway, this is going to be real critical here these next couple of days, because the overall market, longer term, it's done everything that you could possibly ask for to go to the downside. It's hit all the numbers, and it came off rapidly after all the numbers. The breadth of the market is getting worse and worse. And there's another market that's in a little bit of trouble too, based on the open interest that we're looking at, and that is the bond market, because we had a rising market in bonds yesterday. Not much, but it was rising, and the open interest was dropping. Now that itself has a negative connotation, because we have rising prices and dropping open interest. That's short covering. That's not new buying coming into the market. So that's what you're looking at. 877-927-6648.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization optimization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
It's true. Life is all about choices. At Everbank, they're making it easy for you to make a smart one with this special cash offer. Open a new yield pledge money market account with funds from another financial institution, or deposit new funds into an existing yield pledge money market account, and you could earn up to a $500 cash reward. And if you're opening a new account, you'll also get their new higher 6-month bonus interest rate, along with their yield pledge promise that ensures your yield will always be in the top 5% of competitive accounts at banks nationwide. Open a new account or add to one. It's your choice. To qualify, you must meet balance and other limited time offer requirements. Go to everbank.com/TFNN for details and deposit options, or speak with one of their banking specialists at 1-855-750-4051 for more information. You must act by December 31st, 2015 to be eligible. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN has just announced a brand new morning lineup that is geared specifically for traders in this volatile traders market. Every morning at 8 a.m., John Logan starts things off with his daily program, The Global Market Pulse. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento trades the market during the market open Monday through Friday on Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom O'Brien hosts the Money Masters for the hour, and Basil Chapman hosts his Tiger Technicians Hour at 11 a.m. From 8 a.m. till noon every market day, these traders are with you as they provide up-to-the-second market information so that you can make the most educated and profitable trades possible. The new TFNN morning lineup is happening right now. Tune in to see for yourself what kind of actionable trading discussion they have each morning, Monday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m., live only on Tiger TV at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I've put the chart that someone sent me on the Federal Reserve from the St. Louis Fed showing that tightening and crashes. Sure, there might be some type of a scenario here, but you know, for trading purposes, I don't see much use in this chart because it doesn't give you levels that you really want to be looking at. That's why I try to focus on pattern recognition, because you know, all you're looking at when you're looking at a price chart is you're looking at the sum totals of the buyers and sellers. And if prices are going up, there's more buyers. If prices are going down, there's more sellers. It's as simple as that. The one thing they can do is they can give you bad information, they can give you misinformation, they can lie to you, they can cheat you, but they cannot hide. If they're buying, prices go up, and if they're selling, prices go down. That leads me to the next topic that I wanted to talk about, and if you'll give me 1 second, I'll put it up here. And this is an interesting thing because every once in a while, when I have a few moments, I like to watch Jim Cramer on the Mad Money. And yesterday he was talking about, he had a special guest on, and they were talking about a gentleman that came in, whoever it was, and made a $3 million bet in options on the FXI. Now, the FXI, you know, it's not the wildest trading thing in the world, as you can see. This is a ETF for the Chinese market, but he bought a whole bunch of calls for January, they expired the third week in January, where he bought the 38 calls. And he bought 27,000 of those calls. Now, they showed on the show that the volume I did was I called up a friend of mine who's a member of the CBOE, and I asked him, I said, how do you do, you know, that many options, you know, with that kind of volume and everything? And he laughed and he said, look, he said, when we see an order like that coming in, he said, that we stand in line. He said, it's a $3 million bet. He said, we fade $3 million bets all the time down here. And he said, basically, he said, if that person wants to do it, he says, we don't know who the other side of the trade is. All we do is we see the order coming in, we take the other side of the trade. If we're wrong, you know, we're going to get out of it, but we're selling an option that we know is going to go to zero, most probably, because 90% of the time options expire worthless. It's that other 10% of the time that you have to worry about, and that's what they focus on, is if this thing starts to move against them, then they start to get out. Other than that, you know, they're not interested in it. He brought up another situation, the floor trader did, is that Groupon had all kinds of things on CNBC about someone had made a huge play in Groupon, and the person put $5 million into Groupon, and what happened? Groupon stock immediately dropped $1.50, and these options are, you know, big time underwater. And so, you know, you just got to be careful. Remember, it's better to be an option seller than to be an option buyer. If you have an option seller, you have a positive expectation of profit. You have a built-in cushion, but you also have to realize that you're selling something that you're exposed to, and you have to be able to protect yourself. If you do option selling and that option happens to go against you by double, you know, just get out of it because you're flat out wrong. You know, that's the main thing that you want to be looking at. So keep in mind that that's what happens in some of these things. But for every buyer, there has to be a seller. This is what these commodity and futures and options markets are all about. It's an auction market, and for every buyer, there has to be a seller, and that increases the open interest by one. And we're still seeing increases in open interest in the crude oil as it's coming down. We did make a lower low yesterday. Now, getting off on the crude oil tangent here for a little bit, I don't know if this is very important or not. It's still a little early, but we do have as we did yesterday, we had a 3 drive to a bottom pattern happening in the heating oil. We did go down and make new lows. We also did the same thing in the market also. Now, if you'll notice this crude oil chart, you'll see that 1.18, and that's that squaring of the circle number. Shouldn't get back on that subject because I'm going to mess everybody up, but that's all where these numbers come from. And, you know, I only look at only 4 sets of numbers, 618, 786, 1.27, and 1.618. All right, one other question that we had, and that is we had a situation in the grain markets where we've had a little bit of a rally here. You know, beans have rallied about 25 cents off the bottom. I still think we've got a bottom coming in here. I spoke with Rich Anderson of Anderson Capital Management yesterday. Rich, you know, told me, he said there's not much going on in the grain markets, either domestically or international right now. But after the first of the year, you know, things should start to pick up. One of the stocks, or some of the stocks that I watch and that Rich watches also, are the agricultural stocks that, you know, provide seed and also for fertilizer. And potash is one of them. And of course, potash is in a really big bear market. So we'll see what happens there. And there's a potential for a weather problem down in Brazil. It's basically headlined here on TFNN by our good friend Mr. Z, and he is an expert grain trader. So keep an eye on that, because there could be a weather problem, and this is all related to El Nino. Hey folks, it's going to be 64 degrees here in Philadelphia today. Tomorrow it's going to be 70, and it's supposed to be 74 on Christmas Day. Can you believe that? I'll be able to wear my new thong bathing suit that Sarah got me for Christmas. Ooh, that's a picture you guys don't want to have for Christmas. Let's shift on to something else, like maybe Santa coming down the old chimney. We'll see what happens here. But anyway, we'll be watching this stuff of what's going on in these grains. So, last year we caught that big move in May where the beans moved $1.50, which was nice. And I think we'll probably have some others, but just wait for the patterns to form. And that's it. But when you got weather like this in the east, I mean, it's just absolutely it's unheard of. I mean, since they've been keeping records. And my grandson was born here at Philadelphia Hospital. It's the oldest hospital in the United States. It's 286 years old. I still think they have some of the original nurses, but I'm not sure. But it's a huge hospital, and they have not had records like this from 100 years. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what goes on from this level here, and then we'll look at the beans, of course, right after the first of the year. We've only got one more day here this week because of the holiday for Thursday and Friday. We're going to be closed here at TFNN, and also the tomorrow we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have our good friend Norm Winsky from Astro Trends is going to be on. As you know, he's given us some fabulous dates for the stock market and some other things, and he's really really a nice fellow, and we'll have some good information. But we'll have Norm on tomorrow to wind up the end of the week and see what's going on at that time here. So we'll keep an eye on. Well, the market did hold that the 2023 level in the S&P. We backed off a little bit, so watch it real close. If we close really badly today, folks, we're going to be looking at something horrific. That's the way it looks like to me. But remember, I'm just a little old technician here trying to figure out, where's the easy place to buy, where's the easy place to sell. That's pretty much the bottom line. If we go below 2,000 in the S&P today and close below there, that means you've had a two-day rally to the 38% retracement and then headed down. And we could not even make the 38% retracement in the leader of the pack, which was the NASDAQ. It missed it by 20 full handles. So that's another sign that it's relatively negative. So just watch it. Now, should we go back and get above the 2023 level, which I think will be, so far it's been some pretty stiff resistance, we could get to 2040 in the next day or two. But we're watching just for a counter trend rally here, and then to have another leg down. If you look at these charts with these long-ranging bars that we've had, I should put that up in the Dow again, just to show you what's happened, in previous times, and you'll see that that's what we're dealing with here, on a longer term basis. So, and that's what we're trying to do here, is to catch one of these to the downside to see if it's going to move in the direction that the pattern thinks that it's going to go to. Someone also asked a question about how I got interested in the astrology. The very first part of it was when I was at Drexel. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. Her name was Mary Rivers. She came in, she sat down at my desk. She said, I can tell how to buy and sell silver, but I don't have any money. I said, okay, I'll put up a $5,000 account. You tell me when to buy, and I'll buy it, and we'll split the profits. And so she would call up and she would give me an order to buy silver at 7:18 in the morning. and no stop, just buy it. And 2 days later, she would come in and say, sell silver. And I did that. She was right 19 times in a row. She was buying silver, the moon going void, of course, and it worked. It still works. But what she was doing is she was biased because she was only buying in a bull market using no stop. This was 1978, and silver was on its way from $9 to $49. So it was pretty much of a no-brainer. But that's neither here nor there. What we did is, after she left, she sort of disappeared. I think someone else made her a better deal. But Jim Twentyman and I, no, what do you mean me, is Twentyman. Twentyman was the one that figured out what to do. He said, well, if we know the exact time, all we have to do is to go look at all these times and see what was happening at that point. And so we used Neil Michelson from Astro Computing down in San Diego. He does the naval tables for the U.S. Navy and the Russian Navy and the Chinese Navy and the Korean Navy. He does them for everybody. And he was the one that told us. He said, yeah, it's the moon void, of course, exactly 2.5 days. Anyway, that's how it all happened. But then I started to look at some of the mathematics behind it, and Twentyman was really into it far more than I was. And JT he's one of the best at this business. I have to say that I'm very impressed with what Norm Winsky can do, and I've known Norm not quite as long as I've known Jim. I've known Jimmy 53 years. I've known Norman about 38 years, and Norman's really good at what he does. You've seen this on the show here. I mean, he nailed the top in the stock market to the exact within 10 minutes on May the 19th, when we had the moon going, the Mercury going retrograde, and we had the new moon, and it came within 10 minutes. And there's been a couple others that he picked off, and don't do that by accident. That's the main thing. And he has Evangeline Adams' library, which was the one that she worked for J.P. Morgan, James Pierpont Morgan. Okay. Oh, we got about another 10 minutes here to go on the show here. Just keep an eye today, folks. This is supposed to be the Santa Claus rally. And if Santa doesn't come, maybe Ebenezer Scrooge will be there. So be really careful. And if you get a chance, be sure to watch Bill Murray's Scrooged if you get a chance. It is one of the funniest holiday movies that you can possibly get, especially the part when Carol Kane, who's the ghost of Christmas Present, she's a little angel. It's absolutely hilarious. It is really, really fabulous. So you want to keep an eye out on that also. Okay, now the next thing we wanted to cover, we covered the crude oil. We've covered the options. With that, I think that was the only other thing that I wanted to cover. No calls coming in today. 877-927-6648. So I'll try to do a little filler in here to maybe tell another story. I can't think. Well, I should tell one of the. Well, that's not. Can't tell that story. That's mixed company. That won't work. All right. Let me see here. Boy, this is one of the few times I'm lost for words, and I'm never lost for words. I might be in doubt, but I always have an opinion. One thing, which one is my favorite reindeer? My favorite reindeer. I don't have a favorite reindeer. I guess it would be Rudolph, because of I did meet Gene Autry once, and he's the one. Song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He came into the Drexel office once. He was with Bob Hope, and that was a really big day. Whenever Bob Hope came into the office, it was a big day, because he's a very, very high-class person. Boy, let me tell you, it was really, really cool to see him. I'll tell you another guy that was really, really fun to see, and that was Red Skelton. He was a customer of the manager of the office in Beverly Hills, and it was one of his larger accounts. He had him, and he also had Lawrence Welk. But Red Skelton, boy, you talk about a class act. Boy, he was really a really nice guy, and that was really a lot of funny. Another one that was there, that was whenever he came in, you couldn't stop but bend over, and that was bend over and laugh. Whoops, I almost. It was Jonathan Winters, and oh my God, he was fabulous. He was the one that got oh dear, I can't think of his name. I'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and this is the last, second to the last show of the week, but so far the 2011 area has held so far in the S&P. That's the 61% retracement of this overnight move that we had from 2007 up to 2024. So that should give us a little bit of support, at least here early in the morning. We'll wait and see. The question is it just going to be a 2-day rally, a 3-day rally, or a 5-day rally? I don't know, but you know, the overall picture that we've talked about several times in here, and has been telling us relatively well what's been going on, is the the longer term chart of the New York Stock Exchange Index, and that certainly has been one that has. I'll put this up one more time to let you folks take a look at it. That maybe you're new here to TFNN, and you'll be able to see that this is what we've been looking. The correlation is really good. Someone's asked me a question, what do I think of potash? It's it's down into new historical levels. I mean, we haven't been down this low. We're below the 2009 level in potash, but there's no pattern here as of yet. I'm waiting for the pattern to complete, and then we'll take a look at it. Potash produces 25% of all the what do you call it? Agriculture. What do they call that stuff? Darn it, boy. But when you get older, boy, when you try to grasp some of these words, chemicals that you use for fertilizer, that's what I want. Oh, here, an Italian trying to find a word fertilizer. Boy, if that's not an oxymoron. Anyway, they sell 25% of the fertilizer in the world, and you want to watch that, because if they start selling a lot of fertilizer, that means they're going to be planting some. And if they're not selling any fertilizer, that tells us something too, because that means there's going to be less crops planted. And with weather patterns that we've got going right now, with this type of weather here on the East Coast, it was warmer here today than it's going to be in Tucson, Arizona. So that's basically. Yes, someone said I should follow the stock of CRS. It's one of my favorite. I even have the options in that one. Okay, now just keep an eye on this S&P today, because if we close below 2,000, we've got a very shortened day tomorrow. Well, no, a regular day tomorrow, and then we have a shortened day on things. So we'll see you all tomorrow with Norm Winsky from Astro Trends.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.